Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to an Our Time Community Show. Thanks for joining us. Today, I have a great guest, my friend Chris Maier. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
You are so welcome. Well, let's start with the obvious, the people who don't know you. Tell us a little bit about Chris Maier, just your background, what you'd like to share with the audience.
So I am the founder of the Contractors, Closers, and Connections. I have a background in commercial construction, just more recently getting into the commercial real estate aspect of things. That's really the main composition of the CCC. We are a association that brings people together into professional in-person networking events throughout the country now. We're in about 6, moving on 7 chapters. And, my background was in commercial demolition, general contracting, but mainly from the construction world.
Wow. So, and I think I looked, you had a little bit of educational background. Was it in leadership?
Yes. So I got my master's in organizational development and leadership. Undergrad was in psychology at Georgia Southern.
Nice. We'll talk about that off air. Well, so tell me now, are you an Atlanta native?
Yes, I was born in New York, but raised in Atlanta.
So it counts.
Yes, it does. I'm a Georgian.
You're a Georgian,
I'm a Southern boy.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your family, your faith, your friends, your network. I mean, how important is that to you? And what drives you?
It's the network is everything. Family is first, and next is God is first, and network, family. The people I surround myself with is everything, because as you probably know, you can only surround yourself with so many people. They better be quality people that are going to uplift you in business and in all other aspects of life. And without that, there would be no CCC. If people didn't come to the events and help each other, there would be no business. There would be no fostering of relationships. So really mastering that is what I focus on every day, from dissecting who are we going to invite and bring to collaborate in these in-person functions to lend value that's unlike any association in America.
Was very impressive, and that's why I want to ask that question, because that network, I think you said something interesting. You only have so many people you can spend your time around.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants a piece of you, and but that network, I'm sure, is a very powerful network. I mean, not in terms of who they know, but in terms of bouncing ideas off of.
Yes. Fair? I mean, when a lot of people are confusing these days activity with productivity, and I learned that really just in the last couple of years, where I was always just running and gunning and driving to meet people. And I said, I know what this guy looks like. We don't need to get together 10 times a year. Yeah. There's a lot of other people that need some attention. And then a lot of people, I believe, where they go wrong. Well, we'll start off with the initial interactions, which I was just thinking on the way over here is the most important. If you can lend value to somebody upon the first encounter, that's something where they never forget it. Mm-hmm. It's something where what I look to do is with the network I've acquired now in construction and real estate, it's very, 99% of the time I can introduce somebody to somebody else that's going to help their cause and better their lives, So
that's powerful.
Doing that the first time around, just saying, how can we help each other? You're an architect and you want to meet people in this sector, consider it done.
Yeah.
It's no skin off my back. Yeah. And I think it goes back to a insecurity or confidence thing, because a lot of times people may be thinking, well, I'm not very confident in making that connection because that relationship was not sound enough in their minds. But how much time, you have to ask that question, does it take to make that relationship sound? Do you have to do a full financial analysis on these people? Or can you, I guess maybe I wouldn't even view it as a fault anymore, because I put so much trust into people. That's my job nowadays, really, I tell people, is to be a good judge of character upon first encounter. I judge them by their energy, their passion to their craft, because if they don't have passion to their craft, then what are they doing in this business? And I don't want them around me, like we talked about before. They're not going to be in that circle.
But then, people listen to the show, that applies to all parts of life.
It does. Yeah.
I like what you said about activity versus, what'd you say? I tell you it was productivity?
Yeah, they're just doing, spinning their wheels. And I think they know what's best for them. They're just not doing it. It's almost like at the gym when it comes to fitness. The squats and the hard exercises are what you need to be doing and what you don't need to be putting in your mouth, but people do it anyway. So.
Right. Well, that's powerful, and with what I see at the core, just watching, is like you said, you're a relationship guy.
Yes.
And you said you put a lot of trust in people's character.
Yes.
I couldn't concur more. But how there's people I get asked all the time in sales. Let's just say sales. They say, well, that's how you sell, or that's what you value. But isn't there another way to do it? And I always say, well, there's another way to do it, but that's not what I spend time with. I mean, how important is that trust and character to you?
There's no point in trying to convince people. There's, they're either going to buy your product or they're not in the end. And the more you try to spend your time closing them, I don't believe in that. And there are certain sales roles that you have to identify that it's a high pressure sales gig, and if that's the gig, that's the gig. But no, I mean, if you insert yourself into a business development role, which is what I've always done, whether it's business to consumer, business to business. Like you said, you have to a lot of times look out for the long term. Sometimes it's immediate. Yes, we need your services now, but many times that's not the case. And you just have to, be really good at just being interesting and being passionate at what you do. And if you haven't found that yet, I encourage you to find it.
And you seem to love what you do.
I do. Yeah. I mean, we help a lot of people. And when I hear the success stories, that's what, keeps you going. Whether you're a veterinarian or you're a teacher or something, you can find great stories probably every day about success and things that bring you gratitude and, that you can wake up and just be gratuitous for, and very gratuitous for what we formed here. And, when we find people who aren't lending a ton of value and are just taking, and just being extremely awkward in certain things that we don't want in an exclusive networking sphere like this that's based on energy, believe it or not, and the law of attraction, we just don't invite them back. It's really that simple. And it's something magical that I've never seen in any in-person gathering relationship building platform in the United States. And that's really what I'm trying to coach our new chapters to really see, really listen to.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I often say, Chris, anytime I'm in a quote unquote sales thing, I said, I'm not trying to sell you anything.
Yeah.
If there's value in a fit, there's a fit. There's not. I mean, that's about as simple as they're like, well, other people have the hard close sell. I'm like, I understand that, but that's not me. I couldn't do. That's not what I like. But I don't want to forget to ask, how hard, coming out of a pandemic, last 30 months, like mental fitness, physical fitness, just, is that to you? I mean, what when you're watching to our audience, or what you like to share with them? But it's not just physical fitness.
Yeah.
You're buffed up, I can see. But the mental fitness, how important is that?
I think that's everything. I heard the other day, which I agree with, is that there's a certain hierarchy, of needs, and first being physical, you got to take care of yourself. Next comes the mental, spiritual, financial, different aspects that all lend together synergistically to create the best you. And to me, that's very true. During the pandemic, I wouldn't say I skipped too much of a beat. I found the last set of 15-pound dumbbells at Walmart and, kept my things going. But it was so important, and me knowing all these people and having all these friends and acquaintances and whatnot, I'll still get lonely. And so, there was a point during COVID when they did not allow us to host in-person events. We moved virtually and held very interactive virtual events. We saw people still doing great things on LinkedIn and different platforms that were professional that people needed to hear about. And then, we were doing something contrary to what most people did. We would still bring people together on our typical Thursdays for about an hour, little happy hour where architects, real estate people, construction people got together. They would talk about research-based articles or something that somebody had published online. So we kept it going. It was very important, even during the pandemic.
But there's something I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is there an energy that's different online than in person?
Oh yeah. I don't even,
if I can avoid,
I don't do because I hate to try to uphold a certain, I'd rather just think about my content, talk about something on the phone. I don't do the virtual face where I have to be in a tie all the time anymore. Because I'm just too focused on what they see in me. And I know, I'll think back to interactions I've had on Zoom, and because I didn't shake their hand and look them in the eye and smell them and soak in the environments around us, I forget what we even talked about.
It's a little different, isn't it?
To be honest. Yeah, somebody told me exactly what they did, and I said, I already forgot. So, I mean, it's definitely not as effective.
Yeah, it's very true. And I concur. Yeah. It's a great resource, but it's not the same. And it can't be the same because we're not in person. We're human beings. And like you said, in that spiritual fitness, we're made to be with other people.
Yes.
And so, all right. So let's talk about a little bit in terms of giving back. What do you like to do? I tell one of the F words, and I say F words, talking to P, philanthropy, like giving back or making a difference in the world. How's that important to you?
Very important. I believe there's a lot of servants that occupy places in society that we don't have the time. Or, so what we try to do at CCC at least, which is something that resounds from my beliefs personally as the president and founder, is we'll always find, much like this Wednesday, I'm heading to a event that is honoring our first responders. People in community that occupy educational roles, or those first responders, or battered women, or animals, or anything. We've always had some sort of a place in CCC where we dedicate a portion of our proceeds to that charity or that fund. So it's a big part of what we do, and definitely something other organizations should mimic.
So I can add a new F word. That's fantastic.
Yes.
All right. So tell me something fun. What's something fun Chris likes to do? Maybe that people don't know, just that you enjoy in life.
Chris likes to shoot archery. Chris likes to ride motorcycles, spend time with friends, and do a little bit of reading once in a while.
Yeah.
Catching up on mostly just positive mindset books and things of that nature, and see how people have gotten through adversity. Nice.
And all right, so looking forward to, as we were speaking before we went on air, moving towards the fall of 2022, what do you see for the future? Obviously, your CCC is growing nationwide. Kudos to that.
Thank you.
Just what are you looking forward to personally and then professionally in the future, coming in the next 6 months?
Really just building the network. We have 6 interns we just hired on, so they're constantly mining data. I'm training them to interact with our audience. We're opening up in hopefully Dallas very soon, Jacksonville, other markets. So spreading the word and doing great things.
So how are you guys, are markets just sort of opportunities you're seeing them, or is it relationships?
These are all organic relationships. Once that stops, we will start reaching out to different primary markets. But right now, they've all came to us and said, how do we do what Atlanta has done? It's been great.
Yeah, I've taught a high-level marketing course recently, and I've told people, take all the stuff in a bucket. that what you got, that organic, is the best of all. I mean, you can do anything you want, but if it's organic coming to you, you're doing something right.
And a lot of these chapters, when they're just starting up, they say, well, what's the first step? And you just plant the seed. They say, help us in Dallas. And we start funneling resources to Nashville and Dallas. So
you're always putting value in first.
Yes, but you got to start the conversation somewhere. It all starts with a thought.
Starts with a thought. So when somebody reaches out, even with a crazy idea, I'm assuming you at least hear it out.
Yeah, let's hear it out.
Yeah, and don't just say that's not going to work. Or
here's how it could work.
Here's how it could work.
Yeah.
I like the change of wording. All right, so we've got some listeners. We're coming to our last minute or so. What do you tell people out there in any type of organization, any type of business, no matter how old they are, whatever? There's some people that are pretty depressed and kind of anxious. It's been a tough 2.5 years.
Yes.
To maybe give them some optimistic things to think about. You said you were reading those books. What's some takeaways from that?
I think the most powerful thing in the world is developing new habits. A lot of times you'll do away with one habit and then it gets replaced with another. You do away with the caffeine, maybe somebody starts the tobacco. So,
right.
Institute small habits, good positive habits, one at a time, and don't do it too fast. Whether it's gym habits, eating habits, just all sorts of things that are going to make you happy and lend to a better you. Start slowly, and then consistency is key.
So eat that elephant one bite at a time.
Yes, you must.
All right, Chris, man, my friend, thanks for coming on the show. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on another Our Time Community Show. We'll see you next time, folks.